So you're working as a private investigator and somebody mistakes you for a police officer. What do you do? Hi, this is Larry Kaye with ShadowAnyone.com and the creator of the Investigator's Ultimate Guide series, which is premium private investigator training from someone who's been there and done that. This question actually comes up from a comment that I received. It's a really good question. I hadn't thought about it, but it's one that I'll share with you how I've handled these things in the past. There are times when someone might mistake you for law enforcement, and I go based on the individual circumstance whether or not I have to specifically spell out to them that I am or am not a police officer. I don't use this to take advantage, and it's one of those things that it happens kind of along the periphery of what I do. So I'll give you a really good example. Maybe just driving into a neighborhood, the little kids will see me, and even though I'm just kind of dressed like this, a button-down shirt, a jacket, and in a plain car, little kids will see me and start yelling out 5050 to let the corner boys know that the police are in the neighborhood. This doesn't affect the case that I'm working at. Nobody, the place that I'm going to go, the people that I'm going to interview don't think I'm a police officer. I don't feel the need to stop the car and explain to the drug dealers on the corner, it's okay, I'm not a police officer. Now, if it comes up in the course of an interview, and I can't recall this actually ever happening with me, I'm pretty straightforward. When I'm approaching people to do interviews that I am a private investigator, there's not a lot of room for confusion there. If somebody were to ask me, if somebody were to come right out and ask me, make a short and truthful statement would be the answer that I would give you, how I would handle that. I would have to flow with it a little bit in the moment. I wouldn't want to give them the impression I'm a police officer, and I don't want to leave them with that impression. If someone mistakes you for a police officer, what do? I say do not impersonate a police officer. I don't even particularly want that kind of attention on me when I'm trying to work the job. Now, this does lead to a couple of things I want to add about doing pretext. Never impersonate a law enforcement officer intentionally. If you are doing a pretext, or you might think of this as a cover for trying to get information from someone, never impersonate law enforcement. I know that there are people out there that do that. It's reprehensible within the industry. Other people, if they find out you're doing this, they will definitely look down upon you and kind of think, why can't you do the job the right way? What's wrong? What skill set do you lack that you have to try to pull this trump card, which, by the way, you're going to get called out on a lot of times. I honestly believe that. It's pretty transparent to me when someone's trying to present themselves as a law enforcement officer and they're not. It's transparent to me when they try to present themselves as a private investigator and they're not. People who are in the industry understand, and to be honest with you, people who interact with law enforcement a lot, you may think you're dealing with someone who's outside of the little tight-knit circle of the things we do, but they may have a pretty good grasp on what's going on. Other areas of pretexting, don't be pretexting that you're a lawyer. Don't pass yourself off as an attorney if you're not. Don't pass yourself off as a doctor if you're not. And in fact, I would say be very cautious anytime you are tempted to pose as someone who requires a license from the state, because what you can get into is very easily they can say that you're practicing medicine without a license, that you're practicing law without a license. Whatever it is that the license is required to do, if you start to fade into an area where they think that they can decide that, well, you're actually practicing something required by license without having a license, that's something you can be prosecuted for. Finally, an area I never ever pretext and never pretend to be to get information or for any other reason. I never pretend to be clergy, not a priest, not a rabbi. I don't ever want a person to decide someday that they want to approach a member of clergy and have that biting thing in the back of their mind. Wait a minute, is this legitimate or not? I want them to be fully free to go to clergy to find the easiest path they can to God. I don't want to be the person that inhibits that at all. If you've had an occasion where someone has mistaken you for law enforcement, drop it in the comments below. Let us know how you handled it. If you have pretext that you absolutely will not do, you won't cross that line, be very curious to hear about that as well. Drop it in the comments below. In the meantime, this is Larry Kaye with ShadowAnyone.com. Remember, do the right thing, even if it's the hard thing.